Hey, beautiful people. It's Bianca Lynette signing in. And a few of my thoughts for today are simply this: what does it take for us to go from potential to purpose? See, I remember when people used to always say to me, oh, she has so much potential. She's so awesome. She has great potential, but she's not using it. She has great potential, but she doesn't know it. She's not walking in it. And what used to confuse me is it's like, okay, well, you're already saying that I have this potential inside of me. So apparently I already possess this thing. But what is it that's holding up the transition from the potential to walking in purpose? That's one of my main concerns with a lot of people today. I feel a lot of women have great potential. A lot of people have great potential inside of them, but either they don't know they have the potential, they don't have the help or the assistance or the accountability to remind them or to assist them with getting that potential out, or they just don't recognize that they possess it and how important it is that they are possessing it. So to me, having potential and not walking in purpose is kind of like walking around with a buried treasure inside of you that no one knows, or not even no one knows, everyone else knows. Let me rephrase that. Everyone else knows that you have it inside of you, but you're walking around not even knowing that you possess this wonderful treasure, right? So can you imagine? I want you to go there with me for a second. You're walking around and you have this thing that's shining on the inside of you, and it's shining so brightly that it's like a light that's coming through your pores, right? So you're walking down the street and this light is just shining and everyone else can see it, and you're looking around confused and you're like, what? What's the big deal? I'm normal. This is me. This is who I am. And on the outside, everyone else can see this light that is shining through you so beautifully that you have no idea that you possess. That's called potential. Now, how do we get you to realize that you have that shining light inside of you? How do we get you to realize that you have that potential? First of all, I believe that when I started to recognize my potential, it started with my relationship with God. I had to be in the presence of God. I had to be in the presence of God to know not only who I was, but whose I was. I had to recognize and accept that I was created by the Most High, right? That God, the awesome creator, loved me so much that he decided to create little old me and have all of this potential bottled up inside of me. I had to accept that first because it's an acceptance. I believe we have to accept it first. Secondly, I had to change my way of thinking. I had to change how they say my stinking thinking, right? My pastor always says that about his stinking thinking, and I think that's so awesome. That's a great phrase. Anywho, I had to change how I thought about myself, because the main thing is not what other people say about you, it's what you say about yourself. It's about what you answer to. And see, in my life personally, I was answering to all the wrong things. I was thinking negative about everything. I was belittling myself. I was putting myself in a box when there was no box to start with. And that was one of my main things. So first, I said I had to get in the presence of God. I had to know who I was and whose I was. Secondly, I had to change the way I thought, which then produced Speak Life, the Speak Life movement. Why? Because it's important as to what you say about yourself, about what you say to yourself, what you listen to, what you receive about yourself. All of that has to do with you going from potential to purpose. Next, I had to execute. Once you know who you are and whose you are, you start speaking life over yourself and you're believing all of those things that to be true about yourself. Then you start to execute. Then you put the action to it. Then you give God something to bless. And I do believe that every time we give God something to bless, he is just sitting there like, thank you. You finally get it. This is what I created you to do. This is who I created you to be. The funny thing is, I've heard people say, oh, God doesn't do this, and God doesn't, come through on this, and God doesn't da 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 da. First of all, God can do anything but fail. Let me just clarify that for you right now. My question is, are you giving God something to bless? You're saying that you want to be blessed by God. You're saying that God isn't doing this, God isn't doing that. But what are you doing? Pastor Stephen Furtick said the other day that, matter of fact, let me take that back. He was actually talking to Bishop T.D. Jakes, and the discussion was about the fact that no one ever gave Jesus I think it was wood or something like that, or a bench, if I'm not mistaken. I believe he was given the tree to make the chair. That's what it was. Okay. I was coming to it, y'all. I was coming to it. So no one ever gave him a chair. Meaning, God will give you the resources. God will give you the things that you need. God will give you little hints, and God will give you awesome things and details to put together yourself and then say, God, I need you to bless this thing. Right? But you got to put your hands to it. So, number one, this is how we go from potential to purpose. Stay with me. Number one, get in the presence of God. I cannot stress this enough. You can't do it by yourself. Secondly, remember this. There's a difference between a great idea and a God idea. A God idea exceeds every great idea that you will ever imagine. Trust me, I've seen this happen before. I've gotten stuck on great ideas trying to figure out why they weren't manifesting. Get a God idea, right? So number one, get in the presence of God. Number two, change that thinking. Speak life over yourself. And number three, put action to it. You can do it. Put the action to it. You like that, right? I promise I didn't plan that. But anyway, guys, let's go from potential to purpose. The world is waiting on your gifts. The world is waiting for you to realize that that light is shining inside of you. But you have to know that you are called, and you have to know that it is for you. Receive it as that. Speak life, aspire life, and be great. Talk to you guys later.